Hello, everyone. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for another Bensday with Batgirl and Ben. Hey, Ben, I missed you last week, but I saw you were on the beach.
Yes, I took a day off. I take a day to go to the beach for my birthday every year, and did it on Friday, so we'd have a long weekend.
That was Allie's birthday, right? Or
no, my birthday.
Your birthday. We missed your birthday.
No, it was early. It's on Wednesday, so it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, I thought it was later than mine. I know that we both share that.
We're both April.
Yeah, that month, but not the same sign. You are definitely not a Aries.
I am. I'm an Aries. Very end.
Yeah, a cusp though, right? Right on the last day.
Yeah, last day. Yeah.
Yeah. Not as right dead in the middle as I am. I can't see you butting heads as much as I do.
That's true.
Oh, God, I can't even say that today. My voice is going again. I found out recently might have to have some Buck Rogers surgery on it. Laser down the throat, you know, that type of stuff.
Laser, okay.
Yeah, that's all right. So, it was a busy week for CIG, and I know that you and I were talking, and I wasn't allowed to say anything about what we were talking about since we weren't talking about anything other than sand and ocean sounds. But there was a lot going on this week, and you guys actually put out the 3.0 schedule.
Yes, I hope people are happy with it. I can't take credit for any of it. That's our production folks. They worked very hard to get that as right as possible. So.
I think they did an amazing job. Now, one thing that I can tell people is that it is a schedule, and I've worked with project management before, and target dates they're dynamic. They do move back and forth.
Yes, we could get some things done sooner than we expect to. We could find that we find that with every single patch. It's the things you don't expect that hit you at the end. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you guys talked about procedural planets. Someone thought it was going to be out until after the game came out, but now they're in the mix, right? So anything could happen.
That one got moved up, but then I think of like Arena Commander, where we were all ready to launch, and we just had that rubber banding, and it was patch after patch, and we couldn't get that rubber banding issue, and we finally did. But nobody could have sat there at the very start and said, "Oh, this will take 8 weeks to finish." So it's a balance, And the good thing is, the further you get in the project, the better experience your team is, the more they kind of know what they can and can't do. So your schedules and your dates get more accurate, but they're never going to be 100%.
So as director of communication, when you look at that schedule, how does it affect your day-to-day job? That schedule.
David Swafford is our director of communication. I'm
community engagement. Sorry.
It actually makes my job a whole lot easier. I have worked with the dynamic in the past, both here and elsewhere, where we're like, okay, we think it's going to be this day, but we don't want to say because people won't understand when we miss it. And we said that a lot early in the project. We would have things we really hope to do, and we wouldn't talk about them because it might take longer, it might be delayed, it might be changed. And I think we've really grown and matured, and the community along with us, they understand what actually goes into making a game now, and it's freeing to be able to say, hey, here's the actual schedule, and to be able to say things like, here's why this is taking longer, and here's why this could take longer, and it makes my job much, much easier, because it is so much easier when you're just letting everybody see the same thing you do.
Okay. So originally there was some very bold plans for 3.0 when you had the CIG CitizenCon back in, I guess that was October. But it seems like you're going with a more conservative approach, which is what I thought was going to be necessary from the beginning, in releasing a smaller piece of the Crusader system and then building upon that into the full Stanton system. Yeah,
the way I understand it is our biggest issue lately anyway has been not the procedural stuff, but the hand-built stuff that had been being done at Behavior. They have moved on to another project now. It was one of those things where they had this opportunity, they wanted to take it right then, and we said, okay, we'll build up our team, and it's just taking longer than, we didn't have those people in place. They have to be trained up. So we did the long-term projection. We said, okay, we can we can have these moons that are well along at this point, and then we'll do the other planets and the space stations as they come online, that sort of thing.
Okay, and that makes sense to me, because at least you don't delay 3.0 and you start getting out the pieces that really mattered, being able to expand your reach into the universe little by little. And that's what CIG has had planned for quite a while, though, to expand the reach into the universe little by little.
And I think it's one of those things where I know they went back and forth on that decision. Do we let it go later to finish these locations first? Do we do it earlier? I think they absolutely made the right choice, because the sea change, the massive, huge, big thing is the planets. We want to get those out of the world and have people see how cool they are. Because once, A, we need to test it with a lot of people, and B, that just explains where we're going. Once you actually experience it, you get it.
So that, yeah, I guess that's good. I got a little bit. God bless you. God bless you. I got a little bit sidetracked with thinking about the Big Benny's machine, and then going off into the Big Benny Stonehenge, and then coming back to the fact that I was going to ask you, how do you feel about being pretty much immortalized? But you've been in the game for quite some time now in the Big Benny's.
Benny's not me. Benny is one of the writers, a pug that is somehow connected to the writer. One of the writers. Adam Weezer's pug, maybe? I'm not sure the exact facts.
So how did you get into the whole dancing thing and it being attributed to you?
Oh, the Ben dance?
Yeah.
That was back in the Wingman's Hangar days. We shot the episode before I moved to LA, and we were all just dancing in front of a green screen. And I think it was one of those things where, like, trolls first thought it was like a mean thing. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna show this guy. He put a video of himself dancing in front of a green screen." Like, well, duh! I didn't put it there by accident. But no, it was one of those early Star Citizen things. It was, there's a million of them in the community, and someday somebody's gonna need to write a book to explain, what is space lube and the Ben dance and so on.
Okay.
And I'm happy it caught on, because before that I was known for falling asleep in the original live stream. So
okay.
Nobody remember that.
So are there airlines that actually exist, or space lines that actually exist inside of the Star Citizen universe? And if they are, what would their reaction be to someone being dragged off of their spaceship?
So we had this discussion right here. So there is a Star Citizen airline. We established it for the Genesis Starliner sale. Jared made it. I don't know if you remember. We did like a emergency brochure and the in-flight magazine and stuff. So there was this point last week where we were sitting around and we were like, okay, what's the biggest thing on Twitter? Like, oh, well, we could do something with our in-universe airline, but that's a terrible idea. So.
Oh yes, I'm not even going to give credit for that question. I'm sorry, that was just wrong. There's been too many memes and discussion and news programs and studies already done on that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just overdone. But what I can talk about is this past week, it came to my attention that yet another Van Duel sympathizer has come out of the shadows. This person is very close to us. You know them very well.
It's not Dr. Jeffrey Wadley, is it?
It's Sophie Girl.
Oh.
Which you would never have expected, being the lover of the saber. But
Sophie Girl seems like she's kind to all animals, so I could see that.
Yeah, and the Van Duel are animals. After my conversations with David Haddock, the Van Duel are not people. They're not the Kilrathi, right? They're not somebody that it's been a misunderstanding that we started this war. Kind of like how the Klingons and the Federation started, right? They're just evil. They're just evil beings.
They are jerks.
All right, we're gonna leave it at that. But Correa wants to know. Question for that. Okay. Can Sophie Girl adopt a Van Duel child in game? And then Mover Marcus added to that, Do the Vandal children eat their mothers?
I don't know I want to touch this question at all.
Oh, come on, try.
In the broadest sense of the concept, Sophie Girl should be able to do whatever the hell she wants. But I'm not sure there will be a game mechanic to support this particular thing.
It can be added. After talking to the writers, we might get a different idea. And I don't know what has changed with Vandal lore or what they are since I talked to David last about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So I will reach out to him and get him on the show again. But we are sure that this is not an accidental war. They are bad beings, correct?
Yes. That is my understanding.
No misunderstanding. Yeah, you're like me. You don't want to know, right?
Yes.
I mean, you work there and you don't want to know Squadron 42 stuff, right?
I know that there's backstory that is not out there yet, but I can't. I would be wrong to spoil it.
So, are you more excited about, I know one thing, The Jedi Must End, or about Mark Hamill being old man on...
Listen, something happened last week that I can't talk about yet, but it is the most excited I have been about anything in about 15 years.
Wait,
no, this is neither of those things. So, but stay tuned.
Okay. Is it...
Because I have some really good Wing Commander news.
Wing Commander? Wait. Could it be what I've been praying for all my life?
Maybe. It's what I've been praying for a while.
Okay, you know how much I love Chris.
No,
right.
It's not.
It's not that? Oh, God.
I had something last week, and I've been grinning from ear to ear ever since, and I cannot wait to talk about it. And it's one of those things that just frustrates me so much because I want to scream it to the world.
Is this going to require a Bensday After Dark episode where we are not on Star Citizen CIG grounds when we talk about this?
Once I make sure it's absolutely happened, I will give you the exclusive.
Okay, that is great. I love you, Ben. All right, so that one leads us to a Mover Marcus question before we get on to our real questions. And Mover Marcus, you know how his questions go. He says, Ben, now that we get moons in 3.0 with planetary structures and vehicles, is it a matter of time before we get traffic lights and speed limits?
I will say there is not a lot of law on the procedural planets right now. It's almost like we're settling planets ourselves. We have to build that stuff up. But someday, yes.
Yeah, so I would expect that if we're going into Terra or Earth or Goss, there will be some kind of laws.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, right now we're in the lawless zone.
Yes, we're starting very rough and natural, and that's almost why it's moons, because they don't have the fast cityscapes or anything where we're going to have some serious game mechanics like that. But yes, eventually there will be all sorts of rule sets, just like there are rules around Olisar.
Okay. So Soloth Carr wants to know, any chance we can get a Krathok ship from Asperia or a Krathok Enterprises? What is that?
So the Krathok is our unrevealed race. It was one of the stretch goals way back.
Are they bugs?
I can't say what they are. They were originally, remember Wingman, he was the one who came up with them. And we will revisit them in the future. Okay. But I believe they are, in our lore at least, they're unknown to our civilization. So Asperia is not making replicas.
Jeez,
right now.
Sounds like a Wing Commander to me. Which one was that? Was that 5? The Price of... Wait. Was that Price of Freedom? Or was that the last one?
Price of Freedom was 4, and then it was Prophecy. And
Prophecy. Yeah, okay. I mean, that was a bit ago. I'm more interested in the Banu Merchantmen. By the way, this show won't be seen until Friday.
Okay.
So the Banu Merchantmen should be out by then, right?
The Defender.
Sorry. So we'll go back. So I'm more... Oh God, I have to edit this.
By the way,
one.
I tried to pull off naming the thing the Banu Minutemen, which I think is a great name for it because it's like a defensive ship that's ready at a moment's notice. But I also more wanted to do that just because it was so confusing, and they beat me on that one. It's the Defender now.
Minuteman, Minuteman,
yeah.
Like it was. I mean, that sounds more like a ship from the UEE
Yeah, I mean, the thing was it sounded too. It's too specific a historical human reference. So,
Were you
Defender, it is.
were you involved at all with the design specs? Well, the written design of that ship.
Yeah, I expect this one out originally.
Okay, what was your idea of it?
Can I say? You promise me it won't be up till Friday?
I have Chris's to do today. I have a ship review to do on Wednesday, and then this is on Friday, and I have to do 2 X-Plane 11 videos on Tuesday and Thursday. So I don't have the opportunity to drop this until Friday, and
Right.
I don't even have to edit it at this point because, Ben,
It's so good.
do you ever think I would ever break your trust?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay, that's
No.
that's Nicole's question for Ben this week. I would never break our trust.
I know. Okay, so the idea was we wanted a smaller Banu ship that we would. You've probably seen this all along with stuff like the Prospector, the smaller mining ship, because we want to prototype out these systems. We
Right.
prototype styles and systems, and as we're getting to the alien ships, it was the same thing. We, in fact, you've already actually seen this for the Giant, the Giant, the Cardual prototyped out a lot of systems for something else we're not talking about right now. The Banu Defender, the idea is that it's prototyping out all this, not just the game systems, but also kind of the lore and the functionality. Like, how do Banu fly a fighter compared to humans? What do the interiors need to look like? What are we going to scale up to have in the merchantman? So it's kind of our prototype Banu ship now, and we're going to use everything we've learned to build out the rest of the merchantman. But it's a Banu fighter, essentially.
A Banu fighter, a 2-man fighter, so something in the class of a Super Hornet, but might not be as capable as a Super Hornet. Just
not as
different?
capable as a Super Hornet. It's purely defensive. I mean, the idea is the Banu are traders. They move from planet to planet in merchantmen and other larger ships, and they have to defend those ships. I think the first image we had in our head was the little shield fighters from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
We were like, okay, what's the natural? What do you have that defends a Banu merchantman? And we came up with the Defender. I think the most alien thing about it was that there's no such thing as a single seat Banu ship. They have, as a Banu fighter has 3 crew members, and they operate the ship in tandem. So the idea here is this one's been modified for human flight. You can sit at one of the stations and operate everything. But if it were actually operated by the Banu crew, there's 3 seats, so it's a little bit chunkier than a human fighter.
Are Banu about the same size as humans or smaller?
I think you'll find out on Friday.
All right, that's fine.
Found out earlier today.
Yeah, we'll find out earlier today. Well, no, we won't release this until Friday night, okay? That way it goes when the sale goes.
Sounds good.
I'm that sounds very intriguing to me because there's a racetrack about 4 miles from my house, and they do the 2-seat races where one guy has the steering wheel and the other guy has the accelerator and the brake. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Kind of. I mean, humans, we're going to give you the ability just to fly it yourself, but the idea in its natural habitat, that is how the Banu operate it. They don't. One of the things they've been really good about with the Banu is they want them to look at the world totally differently from humans, so they don't have an idea of history. They don't have this idea of a single person doing everything. It's so there's a Banu pilot who flies, and there's a person who scans the radar, and there's a person who shoots, and they work together as a team.
Okay, that sounds great. So it seems like you've probably worked through the next wave of ships with everybody already.
Let me see. We've got 2 more ships in the current wave.
Right.
After the Defender. 3 counting us. Or 4 maybe. You're going to see 2 more big concept sales anyway. We've got a couple of other tricks up our sleeve that were part of the last wave too that you'll see in the next couple months also.
All right.
But
all right, that's fine. That's fine. People are going to press us for that now. Yeah. Let them just happen, folks. Okay. All right, that's cool. So 2 more before the next wave starts.
Yeah, I think I just sent off the wave thing today with some of the concepts for later in the year.
So it's still an outside possibility we might get the Infinite Shoe Monkey. I guess that's who it was. The scimitar.
Yeah, that's still in our back pocket.
In your back pocket. So, folks, back pocket means don't ask for a while. Okay. Yeah, we have to ask that question every now and then, and that is something I'd love to see. But there's so much, there's so many amazing things coming from you guys. I don't feel like that's something I want you to be on a tangent for right now.
My suspicion is that once we get to really space to ground warfare, which I think is going to grow very organically with 3.0, because hey, suddenly there's a planet with cars and tanks and trikes and things that are all driving around. You're going to want to start dropping troops on them and things. I think at that point we'll be looking at a lot more of those next great starship designs.
So I have a couple, just a couple more questions, and I've already asked my big one, of course. Eventually, the planets are coming in, the moons are coming in, and it seems like racing still has this cult, if not stronger, following. Are we going to be able to see race courses set up for bikes like the Dragonfly and the Ursa/Lynx on planets? Or
yes.
Moons? Yeah.
I did not in the initial 3.0 drop, but I mean, so going back to racing, my earliest memories of racing in a video game like this, and this is kind of one of the reasons we started talking about it very, very early on, was I remember playing this game called Subspace, which was a top-down, massively multiplayer. You remember Subspace?
Yes, I do.
That was a fun game. I wonder if there's like a free server. Anyway, the game was just you shoot people and you collect these green balls to upgrade your ship.
Yeah.
And my friends and I would get bored of that, and we would make up our own game. So like, we had like capture the flag. Everybody go to T20 and try to control the safe area. And we came up with spaceship racing. We all go to a agreed upon set point, and whoever wins wins. I guess what I'm trying to say there is you don't necessarily need the game mechanic to do it. We've got a lot of open areas on these planets, and we've got a lot of cool toys for people to drive around with. I would not pit a rover up against the Dragonfly. I feel like it has to be bikes or rovers, not both. But it's, yes, they're...
I think of World of Warcraft, that racetrack that was outside of Gadgetzan. I guess that was it. It was in...
I'm not very Warcraft familiar.
Yeah, I played it, but I can't even... Because I didn't play it that often, I can't remember where or what it was for, but that's what I see. That they could just drop them into these unpopulated places, but you have to have, like a way to get there, and because you're going to have the in-game mechanic to record and broadcast these items, these races. So there has to be something built, some kind of infrastructure. All right, well, that's good. That's really good to know. People also want to know about... right now we have the Starfarer in game, and they don't see... Well, I guess this person didn't see the refueling mechanic on the board for 3.0. Is that something that's going to be worked on more or less down the road as the game starts to flesh out multi-systems?
My understanding is that the focus right now is getting the cargo mechanic done, and that sounds deceptively simple, because getting cargo in means 15 other systems that will then apply to every other role. So they've spec'd out cargo specifically, and then stuff like mining, fueling, so on will kind of follow naturally.
Okay.
But just the professions in general are a bigger question mark, because this is the first time we've done them. Like I was talking about earlier, the more you've done something, like the more you've done netcode fixes, the more you've done dogfight balancing, the better idea you have what it takes. And this is where we get into the more questionable, how long will it take to get to this point? Okay,
and the last question is just to reinforce what we've talked about before, you and I, the next wave of ships is more or less to flesh out that industrial type line of ships.
A lot more career stuff. In fact, I think probably the next several waves will be super career focused. I have a military thing in there every once in a while, but it's much more, we have these jobs and you need the equipment to do them.
No, we have so many ways to shoot each other down right now. I think we're done for a while, I mean,
well, we might come up with one or two cool new ideas for people to shoot each other down.
Oh, and plus they're going to be reworking the 300 series. They're going to be reworking the Mustang. They're going to bring the Aurora online soon. All these are fighting ships, and they're all going to be dropped on us, so it's going to be a fresh look at the old stuff. So giving us more mining ships and more salvage ships and fleshing out the exploration career, that's something I'm looking forward to.
And that will be good. We know it's coming. We just need to get there.
Good. I know. All right. I think we're done for this week, and I guess we will see each other next week, I hope.
Oh, absolutely. And
good.
I mean, we might be able to do one later in the week. I don't know, whatever your schedule's like.
Well, I think later in the week isn't going to happen because this one will show later in the week.
All right. Okay.
We'll do it next week.
Let's just keep doing it for the future. It'll be like the Forever War. We'll keep trying to predict what the next thing is. And
oh my God! If you guys don't come out with the Defender sale on Friday, I'm stuck. So we might need to.
Well, if we don't get that sale finally out, there's a lot of people who are in trouble. So.
Well, I think it's awesome. I mean, I love that you're doing the ships of the alien races. I just can't wait for someday, way in the future, when people could play alien races. That would be fun. All right, Ben, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
All right. And with that said, I'm going to fall apart.
Bye, everybody.
I keep on thinking. I got to keep my mouth shut.
Subscribe and thumbs up if you like this. Leave some comments in the comment section, which I should point out is down there because no other person has ever remembered where the comment section on YouTube is. Thanks to everybody who makes this possible. Maybe there's a Patreon, maybe there's not.
Patreon.com/Batgirl.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.